Okay guys, back with another video. This is quite an interesting one because it's something totally different. Before we start, as always, if you've got any information, questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Contact me www.fidianasosovic.com or at my Instagram or at the email fidianasosovic@gmail.com. You'll find everything underneath the, where the comments are and the details of the YouTube video. Also, you'll get loads of information about fake HGH, www.fakehgh.eu on the other video. So this video is about this relatively new substance, pretty much brand new, okay? And what it is it's meant to be long-acting growth hormone, okay? So it's called HGH. And the most popular brand name that people are talking about, because this was actually a question that someone had, so I thought I'd make the video, is about a new product by Pfizer called Ngenla, and the substance is called Somatrogone. So it's meant to be like an alternative to Somatropin, which is growth hormone, okay? So basically the idea of having a long-acting growth hormone has been around for the past 30 years, but it's never worked for various reasons. And recently they've managed to kind of make it work and get it approved. So this is called LAGH, long-acting growth hormone. And the most popular one, like I said, it's the one that people are asking about because by Pfizer it's called Somatrogone, okay? There's other ones as well, which are the same but by other companies that they've done tests on. One is called Somapacitan, I think, and the other one is Somatropin, something like that. Somatropin, I think. It's a Chinese version, if I'm not mistaken. So all of these have been tested recently, and they've all got on the market about a year ago. So the question is, are they good? Are they better than HGH? What do you think? So my answer about this is kind of like so. Okay, number one, anything that's new, I don't trust it, because it hasn't been tried and tested. Number two, anything that hasn't been tried and tested on the public, again, Number three, even the little tests that have been done are basically on a small demographic of people. So we don't know how that relates to what bodybuilders want, okay? Or, people who want to be young and healthy and have all the benefits of HGH. So if you ask me from that point of view, I already think the product is pretty much useless for us, but let's continue anyway. So then we've got price, okay? So what's the benefit of this product first? What's the benefit? The benefit of the idea of why they developed this product is because Somatropin or HGH is used by children, okay? So you've got to inject them every single day. Now, kids don't want to be injected every single day. So if you manage to come up with something that they inject once a week, you kind of think, this is great, okay? So this is basically the only benefit of this product. There's absolutely zero of anything else as to why you would want to have this product. It's just the fact that you don't need to inject so often. So already, that's another minus of the product. It isn't geared to be more effective or anything. It's just so kids don't have to inject very often. So then we come to price. Now, obviously, because it's a new product, even though you only need to inject once a week, you need to inject a whole pen once a week. So it roughly costs about $8,000 a month in the States for a kid who's about 35 kilos. Right, so when you look at that compared to how much you would need as an adult or how much you would need in HGH, even if we can get it from lower cost countries like Turkey, for example, for less, you're still looking probably at $4,000 a month, which is, a hell of a lot more than you would pay for HGH. And, so again, I don't see the point of this. Okay, so what about the product itself? Is it just a long version of Somatropin? No. This is where it actually kind of like gets a bit more complicated and where I kind of think like maybe this product has no use in the bodybuilding world. So what the product is they took Somatropin, okay, which is, you know, the pharmaceutical substance in human growth hormone, which is basically the long chain of the substance that makes up the growth hormone. And then they combined it together with HCG. People who are familiar with steroid use will know it for basically making your balls wake up again after a cycle, or women who are trying to get pregnant, they use it as a fertility drug. So what they did is they combined HCG together with what we want, the Somatropin, the original thing. And the end result is basically a substance that binds very, for a long time to, in place of growth hormone. But it's not actually in place of growth hormone. So you're not getting a growth hormone analog, you're getting a substance that activates growth hormone receptor pathways. Okay? So, if you've ever heard of SARMs, for example, so testosterone has all the benefits of testosterone and is basically, let's say you're using testosterone, injecting testosterone, you get everything that you would in the testosterone you have in your body, but from an exogenous source, okay? Whereas if you're using SARMs, selective androgen receptor modulators, what is this? This is just a substance that goes and binds to the androgen receptor to help you grow or prevent muscle wasting or whatever. So you get none of the other effects of testosterone, okay? So basically this is where I believe it kind of falls apart, because you're paying all that money and you're not actually even getting growth hormone. You're getting a growth hormone binding receptor. So first off the bat, even though there isn't much literature on it, we already know that half the pathways are non-existent, which means there's nothing on it, how it affects leptin, ghrelin, and all the other hormones to do with what HGH actually affects and why it's so desirable, and the skin benefits and the fat loss and the muscle gain, etc., etc. The only thing we do know is that it does increase IGF-1. Now, the thing is, it does this through one pathway from what we've seen. It's like JAK2 STAT5 pathway, okay? So what it means is this activates this, which activates that, which activates that, which raises IGF. Now, the great thing about Somatropin is you get everything else, all the other pathways you want it working through, and you most probably, because it's not an analog, do not get any of these activated from the Somatrogone. So, you see, when I look at it like that, it's literally a very one-dimensional product that, it was designed in mind so kids don't have to inject too often, and that's pretty much it. Now, in the studies they did about actually how much it raises IGF-1, when you compare the Somatropin with the Somatrogone, basically what they said is the end result is pretty much the same in child height growth. Some studies said that HGH works better, some studies say that the Somatrogone works better, some studies say the Somatrogone works better than that Somapacitin or whatever it's called, but not as good as the long peg one, the Chinese one. So, the verdict is kind of like, well, it's not as good as height growth in this, but it is as good as height growth in that. When they tested about actual IGF elevation, because at least if someone's going to use it for some reason, we want to know if, because don't forget there's many different types, of IGF again. So we don't know which ones it influences, okay? So, what they did say though was, in the studies, it elevated IGF and kept it elevated. 2 days, after 2 days it peaked, and then within 5 days it reached its maximum and started to decline again. However, it does not stay stable. So when they did the IGF test throughout the day, it's not like the HGH where you shoot the HGH, you wait 1, 2, 3 weeks and boom, you've got an IGF level up there for the next 8 months that you're on the HGH for, 2 years that you're on the HGH for. They said that, sorry, it drops quite often. So what might happen is it goes up after 2 days and reaches the peak, but then on the third day it drops, and then halfway through the third day it raises again. So it's probably to do with the pulsating effect of how it releases, you know, the somatrogone, so it binds to the receptors. So you kind of get this up, down, up, down, up, down level of IGF. It's not something, so again, this brings up the question, so if you were to use more, would you actually get higher levels of IGF like with this? We don't know really, because it's a very up, down curve, and overall, it's not something wow compared to normal growth hormone. It's not like they said this elevates IGF miles above growth hormone. No, it showed an elevated level of IGF, which was unstable. So, you know, overall, I don't see the point of this product. I mean, you know, if you ask me, just so that you can avoid, you know, frequent injections. So, you know, that's it basically. That's as much as we know, because I mean, the product was only approved for use about a year ago. I mean, they started studying it, I think, 3-4 years ago. Approved for use about a year ago, marketed just about a year ago. But like I said, it was a failure since, you know, the end of the 90s, early 2000s, whenever they would try to come up with this idea of a long-acting growth hormone, let's say, replacer.